Next up is the carve-up derby against the Hornets. We've just pretty much finished off the Canaries. We had a close shave against the Clarets.
Wow.
Probably should have got something more from the Magpies. I think we made the Cocks. Cocks? What is it? It's a cock on a ball, isn't it? It's just a ball with a cock on it. The Spurs? I think they're called the Spurs. I think we made them look better than they are. We got a damn good see-into by the Wolves. And the... What are they? The Blues. Chelsea just called the Blues, aren't they? That's a bit boring. I don't know why that's more interesting than the Clarets. But they've got a lion. Have they not got a lion on their crest? Why would they have a lion? Why is there a lion on the crest? The lion... In fact, not just them, England. Why the lions? Why the 3 lions? They're not even indigenous. The lions are from Africa, for goodness sake. Can't have a lion, really, can we? Maybe the badger or something. The sparrow. Three sparrows on a shirt. That'd do it. But anyway, those have been the games. And, well, yeah, and we got a good victory against the blue badgers. They probably won't go for that, will they? But we got a good victory against them. But how was this all achieved? Because I've noticed something. I'm sure you've all noticed it as well. And that is the tactics has shifted. We're now into the land of the giants, basically. But whilst we've been going quite direct, and particularly from set pieces, we seem to be getting more shots. Now, I don't know if... It's quite funny, actually, because I almost wonder if we're building the team in David Moyes' image. Almost a team David Moyes wants to build. I don't think he could come in instantly and say, I want to give it a full Fellaini. I think he's got us almost pay homage to our past, to players like Trevor Brookin and so on and so forth. But really he's coming in thinking, we're not going to tippy-tappy our way out of this. What we need is a bunch of big fellas, knock it long to the big fella, nod it in. Now, I can imagine probably the conversation that he's had, and there'll be people saying, you can't do that, Dave. You can't do that, West Ham. You can't do it, mate. Dave, Moyesy, if they know him, Moyesy, obviously not Dave. Can't do that, Moyesy. OK, what we're going to do, we'll tap it around for a little bit, just a little bit. Get a corner, send everyone up, bang. I'll tell you what, why don't we do it at throw-ins as well? Yes, let's do that as well. I don't know if you noticed that against Norwich, the Canaries, the advertising hoarding seemed to be a little bit closer. It didn't give Antonio enough of a run-up to do his full launch. Just something I noticed. Maybe they're always that tight to the side of the pitch. Who knows? But anyway, there's very much been a tactic in operation. Now, I've written it down because I've got to go through it in chronological order. Let's go from the victory against the Blue Badgers. So that was West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. Sorry, did you not hear me? I'll say it again. I know some of you might not have caught that. So that was West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. Cast your mind back, if you will. I know it's quite hard to remember which victory's which after we've had 2. Disallowed goal. Okay? Ball comes over from Bowen. Now, Diop tries to flick it on, but he just misses it. But the tactic is there. So the tactic is the same from the Norwich game. Same tactic. Just he misses it. Antonio lies on the ground, gets in the way a little bit. Soucek basically finishes. But look at the position that Antonio and Soucek are in. And now again, look at the Norwich game. They're in exactly the same position there. Obviously, the goal is ruled out for... The goal was ruled out because we're not a very big club, basically. VAR said, oi, you, get back down there. This is for Chelsea. Anyway, we didn't stick to the script. We won the game. But Soucek scored again. From a very, very similar position. But obviously, the ball just came over. Bowen again. The delivery. Now, how much of this... I don't think Bowen's come in and he's accidentally seen. I don't think he bought him for his goals, and then when he's got in the door, he said, oh, you can take corners. We're normally crap at them. Why don't you go and stand by the flaggy thing and then kick the ball into the middle? I think there's probably more to it than that. I think they knew he could take set pieces. As Gio often says, why are they not Why is he not taking free kicks? But we'll get to that anyway. The ball gets launched over, curled over, caressed over by Bowen. Soucek scores. Okay, so anyway, that's that. Newcastle 2, West Ham United 2. It's a tough away game, right? Maybe Watford might disagree, but you know what I mean. We had 11 shots on goal. Now, the reason I mention that is because for all the time preceding that, we've not threatened a goal very much under David Moyes. Not much possession, not many shots on goal. But the Chelsea game, which I think was 9 shots on goal, started a trend, I think, for more and more shots on goal. More attacking play, basically. Now, it might not be the attacking play that we necessarily want, but it is attacking play nonetheless. You might not like the crude nature of it. It might not be Xavi to Iniesta, back to Xavi, back to Iniesta, back to Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, goal. It might not be that. I forgot. I forgot to put in a Daniel Alves dive in there. Anyway, stick in your own dive or play acting as and where you see fit in there. But we had lots of shots on goal. 11 shots on goal against Newcastle. Now, cast your mind back to that game. Bowen sends over the corner, curls it over. Declan Rice, bang. Heads the ball against the woodwork, comes back out, and Soucek finishes. Now, obviously, Declan Rice would have been liking to think that that's his, he might have got a goal in different circumstances, and it was a good finish from Soucek in the end. But the corner was still good. The big guys were in there. And I do think there's really something going on with these bigger fellas coming in, basically. So, let's fast forward to the Clarets, where they beat us 1-0. How many shots did we have against Burnley? I'm sure some of you will know. I'll tell you now, if you don't, we had 19. 19 shots and 10 corners. My goodness, we were trying to do these tactics. We were trying to do the corners again. But 10 corners, 19 shots. Pretty damn healthy. And not bad possession, really, against Burnley as well, and better against Newcastle. So clearly he's trying to mix it up a bit. We're starting to see at this point a situation where clearly Moyes or his coaching staff or whoever have said, look, get as many shots on goal as we can. They tip them around for corners. We're a massive threat from corners. Now, by and large, this is happening. We're still scoring goals from open play. Absolutely. You can see, because we've got that other goal going on where Fornals plays it into Bowen, who crosses it over to Antonio in open play. In the last game, it was Fredericks who did it. So we're getting some tap-ins from open play, and we're getting some breakaway counter goals like the Yarmolenko one. But I'm talking about the tactics of the set plays, and in particular the corners, and in particular from Bowen's side. Now we go to the Norwich game, and look what's happened there again. The ball's come over from Bowen. This time, Diop has got the flick on. Now, it was very, very similar to, as I say, to the Chelsea game, where Diop almost got the flick on. It went there. Obviously, Antonio finishes really, really well. But if you look at that goal against Norwich, look where Antonio is, and look where Soucek is. It's the same thing. Albeit with the Chelsea game, with the first goal, Antonio ends up lying on the floor. Soucek pops it in this instance. But if Antonio hadn't got that against Norwich, then Soucek would have popped it in. And I think it's almost a case of, look, this is what we're going to do. I think the opposition know what we're going to do, but how much can you do about it? Because here's the problem for a lot of teams who are going to try and mark up against that. What are you going to do? You're going to put someone on Antonio? You probably are. Because look at the other goal we scored against Norwich. I say the other goal. One of the many that we scored against Norwich. Noble floats it in. And Antonio heads the ball in. Now, you might think to yourself, well, hold on a second. Why is Antonio allowed to do that? Well, it's not really he's allowed to do that. Antonio's not the biggest guy in the world, but he scored a lot of headed goals for us. And he is a big, strong guy. Even if you're taller than him, he's going to be a hard person to take out the equation when you're defending a ball in the air. And you can't just mark Antonio, because someone's got to be marking Diop because he's getting these flick-ons. Someone's got to be marking Declan Rice because he's crashing the ball with his head against the woodwork or trying to score himself. Someone's got to be marking Ogbonna. Someone's got to be marking Soucek as well. And unless you're playing Tottenham Hotspur, the Cocks, you're unlikely to have an unlimited number of 6 foot plus players. You know, it's just not going to be the case. So I think it's quite clear. I think it's quite crude what we're doing, but I don't mind. In all honesty, I've never been a massive fan of the Barcelona style of football. I'm about this. I'm about to. It was a sacrilegious statement here. Okay, I actually preferred Frank Rijkaard's team to Guardiola's. I'm sorry, I preferred watching Ronaldinho to Lionel Messi. Oh no, there we go. Slate me in the comments if you will. I just thought they attacked just in a few less passes, but I guess Rijkaard would, bearing in mind the Dutch team and the AC Milan that he played in. I like Liverpool's football more than I like Man City's. There you go. And I think we're still trying to pass it around in the middle. But I don't think we're particularly good at it, by the way. But I do think if we persevere with this tactic, then it may well be a bit of a threat. And whilst I don't think he's gone full Tony Pulis, I don't think he's got the cap. I don't think he's got the chewing gum. But there's some Pulis-esque character traits going in there. And is it really such a bad thing if every time we get a corner we get a little bit excited? That we think, hold on, we're in with a chance here. I don't mind. Because we need to do something. We need to do something to make ourselves a threat. Because for too long we haven't really posed any. We've got to sort out the defence. As I said yesterday, and I'll continue to say, I'm pretty sure he knows that and he will address those particular areas of concern. But whilst you can't drop Michail Antonio, no, he has to stay in the team. You do also wonder what it'd be like with the addition of one additional tall player in the box. Someone like a Sebastian Haller. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe buys a tall fullback. Maybe buys a tall number 10. Something else. Just another big guy that comes in there and gives us another number. It's sounding very Big Sam, isn't it, really? But I do wonder how much of a tax that'll be. Now, obviously, so much of it is based on the quality of the corner coming over. And, all right, maybe Payet aside, for quite some time, we've not been very good at corners and free kicks. We just haven't. How many times have you watched West Ham and that free kick, that corner, doesn't clear the first man? So the whole success of this tactic hinges on the quality of the ball coming over from the corner taker. And I think for once, I think we've got a really good one. Now, the trick is to always bring your own, because the stuff in here is like tracing paper, quite frankly, and you don't want to... What are you doing here? That's weird. Anyway, since you are here, do us a favour, click on that video over there, and maybe, while you're here, if you haven't already, click that little button down there, press it, and it subscribes you to the channel, and you won't miss any more.